The phone buzzed against the nightstand at 2:17 a.m., its blue light cutting through the darkness like a knife. Maya stirred first, groaning as she rolled over. Daniel slept soundly beside her, his back turned, shoulders rising and falling with each deep breath. The phone, his phone, vibrated again, inching closer to the edge. Maya blinked away sleep, confused. No one called at this hour unless something was wrong. Ring, ring. She reached across, squinting at the bright screen. A name she didn't recognize. Vanessa, work. Maya's finger hovered over the screen. She rarely answered Daniel's phone. But at this hour? Hello? She whispered, slipping out of bed and into the hallway. Silence on the other end. Then a sharp intake of breath. Oh. A woman's voice, young, surprised. I thought I was calling Daniel. It's his phone. Maya glanced back at her sleeping husband. He's asleep. It's after 2 a.m. Can I help you? Another pause. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called. Wait! Maya pressed the phone tighter against her ear. Is everything okay? Are you in trouble? No, nothing like that. The woman's voice hardened slightly. Just tell Daniel that I called. I can wake him if it's important. Are you sure? No. The response came too quickly. Don't wake him, just tell him Vanessa called. He'll know what it's about. The line went dead. Maya stood frozen in the dark hallway, the phone still pressed against her ear, a chill creeping up her spine despite the warmth of their home. What's going on? Daniel appeared in the bedroom doorway, hair mussed from sleep, voice thick. Who was that? Maya turned slowly, studying her husband's face in the dim light from the window. She'd never been the jealous type. Never had reason to be. But something in that woman's voice, the intimacy of a late-night call, the panicked response when Maya answered instead, left her feeling hollow. Vanessa, Maya said carefully. Your colleague from work. Daniel's face betrayed nothing for a moment, then his brow furrowed. At this hour? What did she want? Maya held out his phone. She wouldn't say, just that you'd know what it was about. She watched him take the phone, noticed how his fingers trembled slightly as he checked the call log. 12 years of marriage had taught Maya to read the micro-expressions that flashed across Daniel's face, the tightening around his eyes, the slight clench of his jaw. Probably that Henderson account, he muttered, not meeting her eyes. We've got a deadline tomorrow. It was a perfectly reasonable explanation. Yet as Daniel turned back toward their bedroom, Maya caught something in his posture, a tension that hadn't been there before. And for the first time in their marriage, she found herself wondering if the man she'd shared her life with for over a decade was lying to her. The next morning arrived with uncomfortable silence. Maya moved through her routine mechanically, coffee brewing, lunch packing for their 10-year-old daughter Lily, checking emails on her laptop. Daniel emerged from the shower dressed for work, his usual crisp button-down and slacks, hair still damp at the temples. You're heading in early today, Maya observed, sliding a mug of coffee across the kitchen island toward him. Daniel checked his watch. Big presentation. Told you about it last week, had he? Maya couldn't recall. Lately, it seemed like Daniel existed in a parallel universe, physically present but mentally elsewhere. Late nights at the office had become the norm over the past few months. Weekend work emergencies, constant texting. She'd attributed it to the new position he'd taken at Meridian Financial last year. Senior investment advisor meant more responsibility, more clients, more stress. Right, she said, watching him over the rim of her mug. Henderson account? Daniel's hand paused minutely as he reached for his coffee. Among others. Will Vanessa be there? At the presentation? His eyes flicked up to hers, then away. Probably. She's part of the team. She must be dedicated, Maya said, keeping her tone neutral. Calling about work at 2 a.m. That's Vanessa, Daniel said with a dry laugh. Relentless. Driven. Sometimes forgets there's a world outside the office. He drained his coffee and set the mug in the sink. I should go. Don't want to hit traffic. He kissed her cheek, a perfunctory peck. nothing like the lingering kisses they once shared, and headed for the door. "Daniel?" Maya called after him. He turned, hand on the doorknob, eyebrows raised. "We're okay, right?" The question felt vulnerable in her mouth. His expression softened. "Of course we are." "Why wouldn't we be?" The door closed behind him before she could answer. Maya buried her unease in work. As a freelance graphic designer, she had the luxury of working from home, converting their third bedroom into a sleek office space with a view of the maple tree in their backyard. By noon, she'd finished 2 client projects and was deep into a third when her phone buzzed. A text from her sister, Zoe. "Lunch today?" "I'm in your neighborhood for a client meeting." 1 p.m.? Maya welcomed the distraction. Zoe had always been her sounding board, her reality check. Younger by 3 years, but somehow always the wiser of the two, Zoe had an uncanny ability to see through people's facades. "You look like crap," were Zoe's first words as she slid into the booth across from Maya at their favorite cafe. Maya snorted. "Missed you too." "Seriously?" Zoe leaned forward, studying her. "What's wrong? You've got those little worry lines." She tapped between her own eyebrows. Maya hesitated, then recounted the strange phone call. Saying it aloud made it seem both more real and more ridiculous. "So some workaholic called about a deadline. Why are you spiraling?" Zoe asked, though her expression had grown more serious. "I'm not spiraling," Maya protested. "It's just..." It felt off. Her voice when she realized it was me answering. And Daniel, he was too casual about it. Like he was performing unbothered husband instead of actually being unbothered. Zoe sipped her iced tea thoughtfully. "Has anything else seemed off lately?" Maya stared out the window at pedestrians passing by, considering the question. "He's distant, distracted, on his phone constantly. That's just modern life. He's changed the password on his phone. It used to be Lily's birthday." Zoe raised an eyebrow. "When did you notice that?" "This morning," Maya admitted. "After he left." "I tried to open it and couldn't." "Maya, I know how it sounds. I've never been that wife. But something's wrong, Zoe. I can feel it." Zoe reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "Then trust your instincts. But don't jump to conclusions either. Talk to him. What if I don't like what I hear? Then at least you'll know the truth." Maya tried to follow her sister's advice. That evening, after Lily went to bed, she joined Daniel on the couch. He was working on his laptop, glasses perched on his nose, the blue light reflecting off his face. "Can we talk?" she asked. Daniel looked up, distracted. "About? Us, how we're doing. It feels like we're ships passing in the night lately." He closed his laptop and turned toward her. "I know I've been swamped with work. The Henderson deal is huge, could mean a promotion." "I understand that. And I support your career, but..." Daniel's phone chimed. He glanced at it, then back at her. But I need to know if there's something else going on." His face remained carefully neutral. "Something else?" "With Vanessa," Maya said plainly. Daniel's expression shifted from neutral to incredulous so quickly that Maya almost believed it genuine. "Are you serious? You think I'm having an affair with a colleague because she called about work?" "At 2 in the morning, Daniel. She's neurotic about deadlines. Ask anyone at the office. Would they know? About her calling you in the middle of the night?" Daniel's jaw tightened. "What exactly are you accusing me of, Maya?" The hurt in his voice made her falter. Maybe she was being paranoid. Maybe the late nights and distraction were exactly what he claimed. Work pressure, nothing more. "I'm not accusing you of anything," she said finally. "I'm just telling you how I feel." That things seem different. Daniel's face softened. He took her hand. "I'm sorry I've been distant. This deal has consumed me, but it's almost over. And then things will go back to normal, I promise." He pulled her into his arms, and Maya allowed herself to be held, to believe him. The alternative was too painful to consider. But as she lay awake beside him later that night, she couldn't shake the doubt that had taken root in her mind. Daniel had answered her concerns, but he'd never actually denied anything about Vanessa specifically. And as the minutes ticked by, Maya realized something else. Daniel's phone was no longer on the nightstand where he always kept it. For the first time in their marriage, he'd taken it with him to the bathroom. The seed of doubt sprouted. The next day, Maya found herself doing something she'd never imagined. Sitting in her car outside Daniel's office building at lunchtime. She'd told herself it was just to surprise him, maybe suggest they grab lunch together. A spontaneous date to reconnect. But deep down, she knew the truth. She was looking for Vanessa. The spring air was warm as Maya entered the sleek glass building. The security guard smiled at her. She'd visited often enough over the years to be recognized. "Here to see Mr. Wallace?" he asked. "Yes, thought I'd surprise him for lunch." Good timing. He just went to the cafe across the street with some colleagues. Maya thanked him and headed back outside, crossing toward the popular lunch spot. Through the large windows, she scanned the crowded tables until she spotted Daniel's familiar form. Seated at a table for 4. Across from him sat a woman Maya didn't recognize. Mid-30s. Sleek, dark hair cut in a sharp bob, animated as she spoke. Next to her was another man from Daniel's office. Brett, if Maya remembered correctly. And the 4th chair was empty, nothing suspicious. Just colleagues having lunch. Maya was about to enter when the woman, Vanessa she presumed, placed her hand on Daniel's forearm while making a point. A casual touch, perhaps. But then Daniel covered her hand with his own, leaning in to speak. The familiarity of the gesture stopped Maya cold. A 3rd colleague appeared, returning to the table with coffee. Maya stepped back out of sight. She watched as the group finished their meal, noting how Daniel and Vanessa seemed to orbit each other, how they exchanged glances when others were speaking, how they laughed at each other's jokes. Nothing damning, nothing explicit. But the easy intimacy between them spoke volumes. Maya returned to her car, a hollow feeling in her chest. What had she expected? To catch them kissing in broad daylight? Daniel wasn't stupid. If something was happening, they'd be discreet. She started the car, hands trembling slightly on the steering wheel. The sensible thing would be to confront him directly. Ask outright if he was having an affair, but what if he lied? What if he gaslit her, made her feel crazy for suspecting? No, she needed more than suspicion. She needed certainty. As she drove home, a plan began forming in her mind. A way to know for sure. Saturday morning, Maya was chopping vegetables for a frittata when Daniel appeared in the kitchen, already dressed in slacks and a button-down. "Where are you off to?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Office," he said, pouring himself coffee. "The Henderson presentation is Monday. Need to finalize everything." Maya kept her eyes on the knife, carefully dicing a red pepper. "On a Saturday? Can't it wait till tomorrow?" "Afraid not. The whole team's coming in. The whole team. Including Vanessa. What time will you be home?" she asked. Daniel shrugged. "Late afternoon, probably. 4 or 5? Maya nodded, not trusting herself to speak further. She'd checked his calendar the night before, left open on his laptop, and seen nothing scheduled for today. If the whole team was meeting, wouldn't it be calendared? "Tell Lily I'm sorry to miss her soccer game," Daniel added, kissing the top of Maya's head. "I'll make it up to her." After he left, Maya finished breakfast mechanically, her mind racing. She called her sister. "I need a favor," she said when Zoe answered. "Can you take Lily after her game? Maybe for a sleepover with Emma." Zoe's daughter and Lily were cousins and best friends. "Of course. Everything okay?" "I'm not sure," Maya answered truthfully. "I just need to check something." There was a pause on the line. "Maya, whatever you're planning, I'm not planning anything dramatic. I just need to know the truth." After dropping Lily at her soccer game with instructions that Aunt Zoe would pick her up, Maya drove back toward the city. But instead of heading home, she turned toward Meridian Financial's office building. The parking garage was nearly empty on a Saturday. Daniel's silver Audi was there, along with a handful of other cars. Maya parked in a visitor spot and sat, heart pounding. Was she really going to do this? Spy on her husband? She thought of the late-night call, the changed phone password, the casual touches at lunch, the empty calendar. Yes, she needed to know. Inside, the weekend security guard was different from the usual one. He looked up as Maya approached. "Can I help you? I'm here to see my husband, Daniel Wallace." He forgot his medication. She held up a small pill bottle she'd brought as a prop. "Which floor is Meridian Financial again?" 14, the guard said, checking a list. "Want me to call up?" "No need to bother him," Maya said with a smile. "I know the way." The elevator ride felt endless. Maya's hands were clammy, her heart racing. What would she find? An innocent work meeting? Daniel alone at his desk? Or something that would shatter the life she'd built? The doors opened to a quiet floor. Most of the lights were off except for the section where Daniel's office was located. Maya moved quietly across the carpeted floor, past cubicles and closed doors. She heard Daniel's voice before she saw him, a low murmur coming from his office at the end of the hall. The door was ajar, a slice of light spilling into the corridor. "Can't keep doing this," he was saying. "It's not fair to anyone." A woman's voice responded, too quiet for Maya to make out the words. Maya inched closer, her back against the wall. From this angle, she could see a sliver of Daniel's office through the crack in the door. Daniel was leaning against his desk, arms crossed. And across from him stood Vanessa, dressed casually in jeans and a silk blouse, arms wrapped around herself defensively. "What about the trip next week?" Vanessa asked, loud enough now for Maya to hear. "Are you still going?" "I don't know," Daniel sighed. "I told Maya it's a client meeting in Chicago." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. She pressed a hand to her mouth to stifle any sound. "And what is it really?" Vanessa asked. Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "A crossroads. A decision point. About us. About everything." Daniel moved toward Vanessa, taking her hands in his. "I care about you. You know I do. But Maya, Lily, they're my family. And what am I?" Vanessa's voice cracked. A complication I never expected. Maya had heard enough. She stepped back, intending to leave unseen, but her heel caught on the carpet. She stumbled, catching herself against the wall with a thud. The voices inside the office stopped. "Hello?" Daniel called out. Maya froze. Fight or flight battled within her. She could run, pretend she was never here, confront him later on her own terms. Or she could face this moment head-on. She straightened her shoulders and pushed open the office door. Daniel's face drained of color. "Maya." Vanessa stepped back from Daniel as if burned. She was beautiful, younger than Maya had thought, with striking green eyes now wide with shock. "Maya," Daniel repeated, advancing toward her. "This isn't—" "Don't," Maya cut him off, her voice surprisingly steady. "Don't insult me by saying it isn't what it looks like." "You should go," Daniel said to Vanessa, not taking his eyes off Maya. "I think she should stay," Maya countered. "Since this concerns her, too." Vanessa looked between them, clearly uncomfortable. "I should give you privacy." "Privacy," Maya echoed with a hollow laugh. "That's rich, considering you've been inserting yourself into my marriage." "Maya, that's not fair," Daniel said. "Fair?" Maya felt hysteria bubbling up. "You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when you told me you were working late? When you lied about Chicago? When you made me question my own sanity because I felt something was wrong?" Daniel flinched at each accusation. "I never meant to hurt you. Yet here we are." Vanessa moved toward the door. "I really should go." "Running away won't fix this," Maya told her. "Trust me, I know. I just tried it myself." Vanessa stopped, her hand on the doorknob. After a moment, she turned back, meeting Maya's eyes directly for the first time. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I never wanted to be this person." "Which person?" "The other woman? The homewrecker?" Vanessa winced. "I didn't know he was married at first. By the time I found out—" "You were already in love with him," Maya finished for her. The realization hit her with surprising force. This wasn't just an affair. This was something deeper. Daniel stepped between them. "This isn't Vanessa's fault. It's mine, all of it." Maya studied her husband, this man she'd loved for 12 years, the father of her child. In his face she saw remorse, guilt, but not regret. "Not about Vanessa. How long?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel hesitated. 6 months, 6 months. Half a year of lies. Of coming home to her and Lily while holding another woman in his heart. Maya felt something inside her break, and then, surprisingly, a strange calm descended. I think we're done here. Maya, please. No, she cut him off. I came here for the truth, and now I have it. What happens next is up to you, but know this. I won't be lied to anymore. I won't be your safety net while you decide if she's worth leaving us for. She turned to leave, then paused, looking back at them both. And Daniel? Don't come home tonight. I mean it. As the elevator doors closed behind her, Maya finally allowed the tears to fall. The house felt cavernous without Lily. Maya moved through the rooms like a ghost, alternating between numbness and waves of crushing pain. By evening, she'd cycled through every emotion imaginable. Grief, rage, self-pity, even moments of bizarre laughter at the absurdity of it all. She'd called Zoe, asked her to keep Lily overnight. It's bad, isn't it? Zoe had asked. The worst, Maya confirmed. But I'm handling it. I just need tonight to process. Now she sat on the living room floor, surrounded by photo albums. Their wedding, Lily's birth, family vacations. Had Daniel been unhappy all along? Had she missed the signs? Or had something changed, some fundamental shift she'd failed to notice? Her phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. Can we talk? I'm outside. Maya stared at the message, considering. Part of her wanted to ignore him, make him suffer. But another part, the part that had loved him for 12 years, needed answers. Come in, she replied. The front door opened and closed softly. Daniel appeared in the living room doorway, looking haggard. Where's Lily? He asked, glancing around. With Zoe. I didn't want her to see me fall apart. Daniel nodded, taking in the photo albums scattered around her. Maya, 6 months, she interrupted. That means it started right after your promotion. Was she already at Meridian, or did you meet her then? Daniel sank into the armchair across from her. She transferred from the Boston office. We worked closely on the Davidson account, and became close. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Maya gave a sharp laugh. Affairs don't just happen, Daniel. They're choices. A series of choices, each one taking you further from your vows. He didn't argue. Do you love her? The question burned Maya's throat. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. Yes. The simple admission hurt more than Maya expected. And me, Lily. Were we just collateral damage? Of course not. Daniel leaned forward. I never stopped loving you, Maya. That's what makes this so impossible. Impossible? Maya's voice rose. You don't get to claim this is impossible when you created this situation. When you lied to my face for months. I know. Daniel buried his face in his hands. I've made a complete mess of everything. The trip to Chicago, Maya said. It's with her, isn't it? Daniel nodded miserably. Were you ever going to tell me the truth? Or just keep stringing both of us along indefinitely? I was trying to figure things out. By lying? By sneaking around? By not hurting you! Daniel's voice cracked. I thought if I could just sort through my feelings, while sleeping with both of us. The words tasted bitter. Daniel flinched. I haven't been with you in weeks, Maya. You noticed. You tried to talk to me about it. The realization hit her with fresh pain. Even their physical intimacy had been a casualty of his affair. So what happens now? You ride off into the sunset with Vanessa? I don't know, he admitted. Today, seeing your face when you walked in, I realized what I've done to you. To us. Don't tell me you're having second thoughts. Maya's laugh was brittle. What, you thought cheating would be consequence-free? No, Daniel ran his hands through his hair. I've been selfish, trying to have everything. And now I have to choose. And live with that choice. Maya studied him. This man she'd trusted completely, whose betrayal had blindsided her. In his face, she saw genuine torment. But she also saw something else, hesitation. Even now, he was weighing options, calculating costs and benefits. No, she said finally. Daniel looked up, confused. No, no, you don't get to choose anymore. I'm choosing. For myself and Lily. Maya stood up, suddenly energized by a clarity she hadn't felt in months. I deserve better than being an option, Daniel. I deserve someone who doesn't need to debate whether I'm worth choosing. Maya, please. I want you to leave. Tonight, pack whatever you need for a few weeks. We'll figure out the rest. Telling Lily, living arrangements, all of it, but not tonight. Daniel rose slowly. I never wanted to hurt you. Yet you did, repeatedly, deliberately. Maya held his gaze. That's something you'll have to live with. Just like I have to live with the fact that the man I thought I knew never really existed. That's not fair. 12 years can't be erased by one mistake. One mistake? Maya's voice rose. This wasn't forgetting an anniversary or saying something hurtful in an argument. This was 6 months of lies. 6 months of betrayal. While I was here, raising our daughter, building our life, you were falling in love with someone else. Daniel had no response to that. Go to Chicago with her, Maya continued. Figure out if she's worth what you've thrown away. But understand this, there's no coming back from this. Not for us, Daniel's face crumpled. For the first time, the full weight of what he'd lost seemed to hit him. I'm sorry, he whispered. So sorry. Maya turned away. Sorry doesn't fix this. She listened to his footsteps as he climbed the stairs, heard him moving around in their bedroom. Her bedroom now. After a while, he came back down, a suitcase in hand. At the front door, he paused. Can I call tomorrow? About telling Lily? Maya nodded stiffly. We'll do that together. She deserves that much, Maya? His voice was soft, broken. She looked at him, this stranger who wore her husband's face. I did love you. I still do. Please believe that much, at least. Maya felt the last of her anger drain away, replaced by a profound sadness. I believe you think that's true. But love doesn't do this, Daniel. Love doesn't destroy the person it claims to care about. After he left, Maya sank onto the couch, expecting to dissolve into tears. But they didn't come. Instead, she felt something unexpected, relief. The uncertainty, the gaslighting, the quiet questioning of her own instincts. It was over. The truth, painful as it was, had set her free. 3 months later, the cafe was crowded for a Tuesday afternoon. Maya checked her watch, then scanned the room again. She'd arrived early, a habit born of anxiety about this particular meeting. The door opened and Vanessa walked in. Maya raised her hand in a small wave. Vanessa spotted her and navigated through the tables, her face a mask of composure that didn't quite hide her nervousness. Thank you for meeting me, Vanessa said as she slid into the chair opposite Maya. I almost didn't come, Maya admitted. A waiter appeared. They both ordered coffee. How's Lily? Vanessa asked once they were alone. Maya's grip tightened on her water glass. Adjusting. Kids are resilient, they say. But she misses her dad. He misses her too. Talks about her constantly. The simple statement confirmed what Maya had suspected. Daniel and Vanessa were still together. The Chicago trip had been their turning point. I didn't ask you here to talk about Daniel, Vanessa said after an uncomfortable silence. I wanted to apologize, properly. Maya studied the woman across from her, the woman who had upended her life. 3 months ago, she'd fantasized about confronting Vanessa, screaming at her, making her feel the pain she'd caused. Now looking at her, Maya felt curiously empty. Why? Maya asked. Why me? Why my family? Vanessa's composure cracked slightly. It wasn't about you. I know that's cold comfort, but it's the truth. When I met Daniel, I had no idea he was married. By the time I found out, you were already involved. Yes. Vanessa took a deep breath. I told myself it would burn itself out, that what we felt wasn't real. Then I told myself he was unhappy in his marriage, that I was doing no harm. I constructed elaborate justifications because I didn't want to be the villain in this story. She met Maya's eyes directly, but I was. We both were. The waiter returned with their coffees. Maya added cream to hers, using the moment to gather her thoughts. Do you love him? she asked finally, echoing the question she'd asked Daniel that night. Yes, Vanessa answered without hesitation. But loving someone doesn't excuse the harm you cause getting to them. Maya was surprised by the self-awareness. No, it doesn't. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Vanessa continued. I don't deserve that. I just wanted you to know that I understand what we took from you. The trust, the security, the future you thought you had. The strange thing is, Maya said slowly, I'm starting to think you didn't take my future. You just changed its direction. Vanessa looked surprised. Don't misunderstand me, Maya clarified. What you and Daniel did was selfish and cruel. You both made choices that hurt me and worse, hurt an innocent child. But these past months, living without the constant worry, the checking of phones, the hollow feeling that something wasn't right, I've remembered what it feels like to breathe. You're stronger than I would be, Vanessa said softly. Maya shook her head. Not stronger, just awake now. I spent months sleepwalking through my own life, ignoring what was right in front of me because the truth was too painful. And now? Now I choose truth over comfort, reality over illusion. Maya sipped her coffee. Which is why I agreed to meet you. I needed to see for myself what was so compelling that Daniel would risk everything. Vanessa flinched. And your verdict? You're just a woman, Maya said simply. Neither demon nor angel. Just another flawed human making mistakes. That's surprisingly generous. It's not generosity, it's self-preservation. Maya set her cup down. Hating you requires energy I'd rather spend elsewhere. On Lily, on myself, on building something new from the ruins you two left behind. Vanessa nodded slowly. I hope you find happiness, Maya. Real happiness. Not the counterfeit version Daniel and I tried to maintain. That's the plan. Maya checked her watch again. I should go. Lily's soccer practice ends soon. They stood awkwardly, neither quite sure how to end this strange meeting. There's one more thing, Vanessa said hesitantly. Daniel doesn't know I'm here. He wouldn't approve. Why tell me that? Because you should know he regrets what he did to you. Not us exactly, but the way it happened. The lies, Maya gathered her purse considering this. Tell Daniel that Lily has a recital next Friday. She's asked for him to be there. I'll tell him. As Maya walked toward the door, Vanessa called after her. Maya? What will you do now? Maya paused, surprised to find that she was smiling. A small, genuine smile that felt foreign on her face after months of grief. Live, she said simply. Outside, the summer air was warm on her skin. Maya tilted her face toward the sun, breathing deeply. The pain wasn't gone, might never be completely gone, but it had transformed into something more manageable. A scar rather than an open wound. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Zoe. Drinks tonight? Emma can watch Lily. Yes, Maya texted back. I have a story to tell you. As she walked to her car, Maya felt lighter than she had in months. The 2 a.m. call that had started it all had led her here, to this moment of strange, unexpected freedom. The future stretched before her, unwritten and uncertain. But for the first time since that night, Maya found herself looking forward to what came next. 8 months later, the gallery was crowded for a Thursday evening. Maya moved through the space, champagne flute in hand, still not quite believing that the vibrant photographs on the walls were hers. After Daniel left, she'd picked up her old camera, more therapy than ambition at first. But something had clicked, quite literally, and the hobby had rapidly evolved into a passion, then a side business. Now, her first exhibition, After Midnight, a series exploring transition and reinvention. These are remarkable, said a voice beside her. Maya turned to find a tall man with kind eyes studying one of her photographs, a night shot of an empty swing set, streetlights casting long shadows across the playground. Thank you, she replied. Though I'm biased, I agree. He laughed, the sound warm and genuine. I'm Ethan, friend of the gallery owner. Maya, friend of myself, I suppose. The artist, he said, recognition lighting his features. Even better. Would you mind telling me about this one? He gestured to the swing photograph. It's called The After, Maya explained. Part of a sequence about what remains when something ends. It should be depressing, Ethan observed, but it's not. There's something hopeful about it. That was the idea. Endings aren't just loss. They're also beginnings if you let them be. Ethan regarded her with interest. You sound like someone who knows that firsthand. Before Maya could respond, Lily appeared at her side, tugging on her sleeve. At 11, she was growing so fast Maya could hardly keep up with her changing face. Mom, can I have another sparkling cider? She asked. One more, Maya agreed. Then we're cutting you off. I don't need you bouncing off the walls at midnight. Lily rolled her eyes good-naturedly and disappeared into the crowd. Your daughter? Ethan asked. Yes, my best work, though I can't take all the credit. Ethan smiled. Much more impressive than photographs. Different medium entirely, Maya agreed, returning his smile. Across the gallery, she spotted Daniel and Vanessa entering. They'd come at her invitation, a peace offering of sorts. They moved awkwardly through the space, clearly uncomfortable, but making the effort for Lily's sake. Maya had expected to feel something seeing them together. Pain, anger, regret. Instead, she felt a curious detachment, as if they were characters in a story she'd read long ago. Excuse me, she said to Ethan. There's someone I need to greet. Of course. Perhaps we could continue our conversation later? I'd love to hear more about your work. Maya felt a flutter of something she hadn't experienced in a long time. Possibility? I'd like that, she said, as she crossed the gallery toward her ex-husband and the woman he'd left her for. Maya felt strangely grateful. Not for the betrayal, never for that, but for the wake-up call it had provided. The late-night phone call that had shattered her world had also freed her from a life half-lived. Daniel saw her approaching and tensed visibly. Vanessa touched his arm, a gesture of reassurance that Maya once would have found unbearable. You came, Maya said, reaching them. Lily will be thrilled. We wouldn't miss it, Daniel said carefully. The photos are amazing, Maya. Thank you. She accepted the compliment without elaboration. I'm proud of you, he added awkwardly. It's incredible. Maya studied him, the man she'd once built her life around. He looked older somehow. Whether from guilt or simply the passage of time, she couldn't tell. What she could tell was that the sight of him no longer threw her off balance. Life takes unexpected turns, she said simply. It does, Vanessa agreed quietly. The three of them stood in uncomfortable silence, bound together by history yet separated by choice. Daddy! Lily's voice broke the tension as she rushed toward Daniel. He knelt to embrace her, his face lighting up in genuine joy. Maya stepped back, giving them space. Her gaze drifted back to where Ethan stood, still examining her photographs with interest. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. A text from Zoe. How's it going? Need reinforcements? Maya smiled as she typed her response. All good. Life after midnight is looking bright. She pocketed her phone and moved through the gallery. Her gallery, surrounded by images born from her darkest moments, yet transformed into something beautiful. The late-night call had been a beginning, not an end. Just not the beginning she'd expected. Maya glanced back at Daniel, now listening intently as Lily explained something about one of the photographs. Vanessa stood slightly apart, clearly still finding her place in this complex dynamic. Then Maya looked toward Ethan, who caught her eye and smiled. The future stretched before her. Unwritten, she stepped forward to meet it.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.